The rain fell like silver threads from the heavens, blurring the city lights into a hazy glow that danced on the car windshield. Ryan sat behind the wheel of his black sedan, the engine humming softly as he waited for the traffic light to change. The day had been long, meetings, contracts, a dozen phone calls that drained him, and all he wanted now was to get home, maybe pour himself a drink, and forget about the noise of the world. As he rubbed his tired eyes, he noticed movement at the edge of the road. A woman, drenched and trembling, moved between the cars, her thin shawl clinging to her skin, her hand extended toward each driver she passed. Another beggar, he thought. The city was full of them, some real, most fake. But something about the way she walked caught his attention. Not the desperation, but the dignity. She didn't shout, didn't knock on windows or plead. She just stood silently when someone ignored her and moved on when they didn't. When she reached his car, Ryan hesitated. The rain had grown heavier, and for a moment, her figure was just a blur behind the fogged glass. On impulse, he lowered the window slightly. Cold air rushed in, carrying the scent of wet asphalt. And then he saw her face. His heart stopped. It couldn't be. "Anna?" he whispered, barely audible. The woman froze too, her eyes widening in disbelief. For a few seconds, time itself seemed to stand still. The woman who had once been the love of his life, the one who vanished without a word 5 years ago, was standing outside his car, begging for coins. Her lips trembled as if she wanted to say his name. But the traffic behind honked impatiently. Ryan's world spun. The girl who once laughed under cherry blossoms, who dreamed of painting in Paris, was now a beggar on a rainy street corner. "Get in," he said sharply, pushing the door open. She shook her head, her expression a mix of shame and fear. "Please, Anna, get in," his voice cracked. She hesitated, then slipped into the passenger seat, dripping water onto the leather seat. The smell of rain and poverty filled the car. Ryan drove in silence, his grip on the steering wheel tight. She sat curled, her hands clasped, staring at the dashboard. "What happened to you?" he finally asked, his tone half anger, half heartbreak. She didn't answer. 5 years, Anna. 5 years I searched for you. I thought you were dead." Tears welled in her eyes. And when she finally spoke, her voice was barely a whisper. "Maybe I should have been." Her words sliced through him. Ryan glanced at her. Her face was thinner, her once sparkling eyes dimmed, her clothes torn. He remembered the last time he saw her. A fight, harsh words, her storming out of his apartment saying she needed space. He had waited for her to call. She never did. He filed police reports, checked hospitals, even posted online pleas, nothing, until tonight. "Tell me everything," he said, softer now. She took a deep breath. "After that night, I didn't want to go home. I went to stay with a friend. But on the way, I was mugged. They took everything, my phone, my bag, my ID. I couldn't contact anyone. Then I found out I was pregnant." Ryan's eyes widened. "Pregnant?" She nodded, tears falling freely now. "I didn't know what to do. I was scared. I tried to find work, but no one would hire a girl with no ID, no address. I cleaned houses, slept in shelters, sold small paintings on sidewalks. When my baby was born, I thought things might change. But he got sick. Fever, infection. I couldn't afford treatment. He died in my arms." Her voice broke into a sob. Ryan's chest constricted as guilt washed over him like a wave. "Anna," he whispered. She shook her head, wiping her tears. "After that, I stopped caring about anything. I moved from one city to another, surviving day by day. I didn't want to be found. I didn't deserve to be." Ryan pulled over by the roadside, turned off the engine, and looked at her fully for the first time. "You don't get to decide that," he said firmly. "You made mistakes." "But so did I. I should have gone after you that night." She smiled faintly. "It wouldn't have changed anything. Life wanted to teach me how it feels to lose everything." Ryan took her hand. It was cold and rough, so different from the delicate fingers he once held. "You're not alone anymore," he said. "I'm here now. Let me help you." She tried to pull away, but he didn't let go. "You don't owe me anything," she said. "I'm not the girl you loved." He looked into her eyes. Maybe not. But you're the woman I never stopped loving. The silence that followed was heavy with memories, regrets, and unspoken forgiveness. As he drove her to his apartment, the rain finally began to ease, and through the windshield, a faint sunrise painted the sky. Somewhere between pain and redemption, Ryan knew one thing: this was not the end of their story. It was just beginning. The next morning, the world looked different. The rain had washed the city clean, leaving a soft golden light spilling through Ryan's apartment window. Anna sat at the edge of the bed, wrapped in a towel, her wet hair dripping onto the floor. Ryan had insisted she take a hot shower and change into one of his oversized shirts. He watched her from the kitchen brewing coffee, feeling 1,000 emotions crash inside him: guilt, hope, anger, love, all tangled in confusion. She looked fragile, like a ghost of the woman he once knew, yet there was still a quiet strength in her posture, a defiance that had somehow survived everything. "You can stay here as long as you want," Ryan said, placing a mug before her. She looked up, startled, as if she didn't expect kindness anymore. "Ryan, I can't stay here. People like me don't belong in places like this." He frowned. "People like you? You mean strong people who've been through hell and still survived?" She smiled faintly but shook her head. "You don't understand. When you've lived on the streets, you stop believing you deserve comfort. You stop believing anyone cares." Ryan sat across from her. "Then let me show you you're wrong." For a long while, they sat in silence, sipping coffee. Then she spoke. "Do you ever think about how life turns strangers into memories?" He looked at her curiously. "What do you mean?" "When I saw you last night," she said softly, "I thought I was hallucinating. I used to dream about you, how you'd find me, save me. But dreams fade. Ryan, reality doesn't." Her words carried a weight that made him clench his fists. "Then let's change your reality," he said. "You said you used to paint, right? You were amazing. You can start again." She laughed bitterly. "Who would buy a painting from a woman who begged on the streets yesterday?" "Someone who believes in second chances," he said firmly. Over the next few days, Ryan kept his word. He took her to a salon, bought her clothes, helped her find her confidence again. He even rented a small studio space and stocked it with canvases and brushes. For the first time in years, Anna picked up a paintbrush. Her hand trembled at first, but soon the strokes found rhythm again. Her art, once filled with color and hope, now carried the raw pain and resilience of someone who had lived through the storm. People noticed. A local gallery owner saw one of her pieces and offered her a spot in an exhibition called Lost and Found. The night of the event, Ryan watched her from afar, standing under the warm lights, her hair styled, her eyes glowing, not with money or glamour, but with dignity. As guests admired her work, Anna felt tears rise. One of the paintings, titled The Window, showed a man sitting in a car on a rainy night, a woman outside reaching out. The caption read, "Sometimes salvation comes when you least expect it." Ryan approached her, his voice low. "It's beautiful." She turned to him, smiling. "So are you." That night, as they walked home under a sky full of stars, Anna whispered, "You know, for a long time I thought love was about perfection. But now I know it's about forgiveness." Ryan looked at her and said, "And about never giving up, even when everything seems lost." They stopped walking and she looked up at him. "Thank you for opening that window," she said softly. He brushed a strand of hair from her face. "Thank you for giving me a reason to." As dawn broke, painting the sky in shades of gold and rose, Anna knew she had finally found her way home, not just to a place, but to a heart that never stopped waiting for her.